The hem is the finishing part of a garment. It can be anywhere from 1/4 of an inch in width to 2 or 3 inches, depending on the garment and depending on the style and shape of the edge of the fabric. We always need to do something for the raw edge of the fabric. We can do several things. We can place a row of machine stitching. We can place a row of zigzag stitching. We can use the serger and actually put a serged edge. Or we can turn under the raw edge and machine stitch it 1/4 of an inch. The choice that we make is dependent on how badly the fabric frays or pulls apart and the thickness. For example, on a heavy wool, we would not want to put anything that would be bulky. The other option that we have as well is to put a hem tape on the edge, and that is done many times with fine garments. Most of the pattern pieces will show what depth the hem would be, and for a normal skirt we have a 2-inch hem. The 2-inch hem will be what is done on your sample. You will use one of your 6 by 6 inch squares and begin the process by pressing under 1/4 of an inch so that it is smooth and straight, and then machine stitching. Once it is machine stitched, you will want to turn up your hem, and you will want to use the seam gauge to make sure that it is 2 inches at every point. If the hem is not straight, it will not hang straight on your body. You will then want to put your pins perpendicular to the seam edge, allowing the pin head to extend beyond the edge of the finished edge so that you can easily pluck it out. The stitch that you are going to use is called an invisible hemming stitch. If you look carefully at the sample, you will see that you do not see any stitching at all. And this is done so that if you catch your heel or grab something on the edge of your skirt, the thread is not there to easily pull out. We begin our stitching with a single thread. We put a small knot in the end of the thread. Many will say, why don't you use a double thread? It would seem like that would be much simpler and would stay in better. But if you have a choice between pulling the hem out because you snagged it or ripping the fabric, it really is a better choice to have the fabric with the hem pulled out and replace it than to have to patch the fabric. We are going to then take our needle and thread, and we are going to hide the knot in the fold of the fabric. Remember, the concept is that it is going to need to be an invisible thread or an invisible stitch. And so we are going to anchor our stitch several times. And our stitches are going to be placed about 3/8 of an inch apart. You want it firm enough to hold the fabric in place, but you do not want it so tight that it looks puckered or drawn on the outside. You are then going to go parallel to where your knot was taken, and you are going to pick up several threads and then float the needle into the fold, coming out on the back side of the fold. That allows the stitch to be completely concealed. We then pull the thread down with our thumb, pick up several more threads, float it on the inside of the fold, coming out the back side. If I poke it out like this, my thread will show on the outside and will be easily caught. Several threads, float it along, come through the fold on the back side, pull it snugly. As as you are doing this, you are then going to want to flip your fabric over, and you are going to want to confirm that there is no stitching showing on the reverse or the right side of the fabric. As you come along doing your stitching, then you pull your pins out as you come to it. So when you complete the actual hem, the pins are all on your pin cushion rather than in your garment. You probably are going to run out of thread as you are stitching, and simply then make a knot on the inside, cut off your thread, start over again. You do not want your thread so long that it will snarl or knot as you are actually stitching. When it is done, you will want to press the hem, and then it is a good idea to let the hem and the garment hang for a day before you wear it. That's in an ideal situation.